Good evening, class. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about inspiration and a video that I am currently working on with some family and friends, where the inspiration came from and why it's so important if you're a filmmaker, and a little bit about the story that I'm writing. So here we go. If you're an aspiring filmmaker, then you should watch movies. If you're not, then I don't know why you're an aspiring filmmaker. But they're one of the greatest motivational tools and inspirational tools that we have. Watching a movie can get the creative juices flowing. As a starting out independent filmmaker, it's very important for us to keep our family and our friends close. Reason is because most of the time they're going to be the ones that are, motivating us to do what we do and also helping us bring those projects to life. For me, that's very much the case. Not for everyone, but for me that's definitely where I'm starting out as, getting my projects rolling. In order to write something that you eventually plan on making a full-fledged project out of, you have to be inspired by something you've seen, heard, or randomly thought of. Even just thinking of something is sort of like seeing something, because our thoughts are derived from something that we've experienced. As a filmmaker, it's important to dive into other creative outlets that are out there on the interwebs or via DVD and spark the imagination. First things first.
Time to relax. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. Let them feel it.
So, the work in progress video that I'm currently working on it's going to be called Kassel, named after the city in Germany, Kassel, Germany. In the year 1945, the town was attacked by the U.S. During World War II, and my story takes place during that time. Right before that battle took place, a young, innocent German civilian and his experience during that time and what he went through. So it's a look from the other side. The Germans were viewed as all evil, but that wasn't necessarily the case, and that story deserves to be told. You might have seen the movie that inspired me writing this movie, Fury. It stars Brad Pitt. It's his second movie where he's fighting the Nazi soldiers. He did one with Quentin Tarantino, but Fury shows, it's a very brutal story. It shows you a look of the cities getting ransacked, and you get to see German people fleeing their homes, but you don't really get to see their story and what they went through. So that's where I had the idea to write this story. First thing I always do is I always start off with a script. It's the only way for me to keep my ideas on sheet so I don't forget them, because I'm always writing things, different stories and stuff, and I'll forget if I don't write it down. So I write that first. By the time I'm finished with the script, it's completely different from the way it started, which I'm sure is the case for almost everybody out there. Once I have the script done, I usually want to talk about it with people, so that's when I get family and friends involved, asking if they have anything they'd like to contribute or be a part of it. I have a lot of friends that I know like to be involved with this kind of stuff, so I go to them first. And now, since the next thing, I don't normally do this, but for this story, since it's a period piece in 1945, I go and research the war, what it was like during that time. I watched a 2-hour documentary on YouTube about World War II and the Nazis, and just really sparked the realism, because I want a realism factor to this. I don't want it to be just too amateur and thrown together to where you're watching it and the lack of realism takes you out of the story. So I want to add that value to this, so that's why I watched those. And then jumping off that, I would ask around friends if they had any old military jackets or just any type of artifacts from that time. And then I went to antique shops looking for stuff, went on Amazon and bought a few things for it, got some stuff loaned to me from some friends. You'll be surprised how much stuff you can get from friends just by asking, so do that. Next step for me, I probably shouldn't have done this step next, but what I did was I tried to lock down some locations. I want to get this story done. It's scheduled for the 29th, so it's very soon. So I got a location locked down from family, one location. The other location's just an abandoned property, so that should be fun. Normally you should actually write the storyboards first, which I still haven't done. I've been trying to think of what kind of directing style, cinematographer styled video I want this to be. I've been tossed and torn between a few different ways, so that's why I haven't wrote the storyboards out yet, but those are really important and help keep you in visual story mode while you're actually out there filming. So the filmmaking process, especially for young filmmakers, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. That's why we do it, but it can be very stressful because you don't have the crew doing the 100 things that you're doing, because you're writing it, you're directing it, you're getting people excited for it, you're trying to get the locations and the stuff together to do it, and like there's no one else really helping get that going for you, which makes things a lot easier. You do these things to get to that point once you make something really good and people are excited about your stuff. So that's another thing I'm working on, is just trying to do it all at the same time, and that's why you fall behind on certain places like storyboards. I'm gonna knock this table over if I don't quit. You just gotta keep a process, a creative process from start to finish, and that is filmmaking, that process. And the more you do it and the more you do the things leading up to editing and production right, the more you'll learn from your mistakes and get it going well. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm pretty excited to get it out and release to people because it's a good story. And thanks for watching, and check out my WordPress website, Nitwit Productions, if you get a chance. There should be a link posted on that site once I get this video finally done in the near future. Thank you, folks.